Roman Reigns pinned for the first time in over 3 years. Shayna Baszler randomly turns even more heel on heel partner Ronda Rousey. And oh my god, I think they just killed Logan Paul. Quick, someone check a bottle of Primary's corpse. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk review of WWE Money in the Bank 2023. After the James Bond-themed opening video package nearly made Adam Blompier faint in delight next to me, Mission Impossible is better, Adam, the show kicked off in a big way with an excellent men's Money in the Bank ladder match. LA Knight wasn't just the bookie's favourite going in, he was the crowd's favourite, continuing his mega overness with the London crowd from the previous night's SmackDown. Logan Paul, meanwhile, was over like crazy in the opposite sense, as in everyone hates him. But unlike last year, when everyone was booing Logan Paul and WWE just went babyface, this is the Triple H era that really does go with crowd sentiment. So the opening spot was the match's 6 other wrestlers just beating the crap out of him while everyone cheered. And that wasn't just a one-off bit to satisfy the crowd early. I'd argue the backbone of this match psychology was built around Paul and the threat of him winning. The next spot saw Logan try to team with Damian Priest and Luke Owen's favourite me and you against them heel team-up spot, which ended with Paul hitting a massive frog splash off the apron onto Priest onto a ladder bridge for Logan to just bounce off him when the ladder didn't break. Paul was writhing on the floor, undoubtedly in immense pain, when one of the crowd threw a bottle of his own prime drink at him. Yes, my country! It's stuff like that that makes me patriotic. Like when David Blaine suspended himself in a see-through box above the Thames for 44 days going, I'm so intense and fearless, and we pelted him with eggs. The final Paul spot, possibly ever because I think he died, came near the end when Knight pushed Logan and Ricochet off a ladder. It seemed like both men were meant to springboard off the top rope through the 2 tables outside. A near impossible sequence of balancing acts to pull off, but Ricochet was going to do it no matter what, flipping himself and Logan through sheer force of will even though they had both fallen over already, sending Paul diving headfirst into the center of the earth. With the Logan threat nullified, Knight was ready to win the match, but in an excellent piece of cinematography, which is really improved on the Triple H, Priest's hand came up from the bottom of the shot like it was from the front cover of an Evil Dead DVD and took him out. Priest is the men's Money in the Bank briefcase winner, one of 3 very worthy winners along with Knight and Paul going in, but arguably the one with the most storyline potential, as we'll come on to later. Someone throwing a bottle of Prime at Logan Paul wasn't the only thing that made me patriotic. Liv Morgan wearing a Union flag outfit also made me love my country. Oh, Canada. Yes, I just said the Union flag, by the way, not the Union Jack. That's correct. Is Liv being flown from a ship in the sea? No! Then it's a Union flag, not a jack. I will die on this hill. Ronda Rousey's costume effort, meanwhile, was just scrawling the letter M on her forehead. I'm told it's a Dragon Ball Z reference, but it reminded me more of Rimmer from Red Dwarf. As this match started, El Fakador Laurie Blake turned to me and drolly observed, "It's a shame WWE have forgotten Shayna Baszler is the best thing in this," and then proceeding to bore me explaining the colour scheme of her outfit was referencing the Sons of Horus Space Marine Legion, who were the very first legion to betray the Emperor during the Horus Heresy. I'd already grown bored of him and the match, but joke's on me because that was foreshadowing. WWE continued their streak of booking shock conclusions in otherwise disinteresting women's matches on premium live events, because out of nowhere, after 8 minutes of working over Liv, Shayna suddenly turned on Ronda with no provocation at all, choking out Rousey and letting Morgan and Raquel become the new tag team champions. While exciting, something happened. It feels very soon for Ronda and Shayna to drop the belts. They reportedly begged for a run for months so they could help establish the division. They even unified the WWE Women's Tag Team titles with the NXT counterparts, and they lose them after a month with no build of dissension. This could be a case of Triple H wanting to make Shayna the NXT boss of old, or perhaps it'll signal yet another Rousey hiatus, with speculation she'll make her return to WWE's partner promotion, the UFC, for one last run. But according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, Shayna turning on Ronda was always the plan. But they were meant to be a tag team for longer, which was screwed up by Rousey's injury. Ronda reportedly has a hard out from her WWE contract long before WrestleMania, and she wanted to have a feud with her friend Shayna, the person who got her into wrestling, before she finishes her wrestling run. Gunther vs. Riddle was actually my most anticipated match going into the show, but it didn't quite live up to my admittedly high expectations, the same way Gunther vs. Ali smashed my low ones last month. They still worked incredibly well together, with stiff strikes and back and forth counters. Gunther targeted Riddle's ankle and eventually chopped his foot into submission to win. I somehow bought into Ali's near falls in Saudi Arabia though than Riddle's here. Perhaps it was because this match was more of a setup for the post-match angle. A returning Drew McIntyre, who we hadn't seen since WrestleMania, amidst reports he was frustrated with his creative and contract. He laid out Gunther with a Claymore, setting up the biggest threat to the IC title yet. Dominic Mysterio versus Adrenaline in my soul. Something Cody Rhodes came next. One of the shortest matches on the card. Half of it was Dom slapping Cody and then running away. Dom was rightfully never presented as a serious threat to Rhodes, and most of his offense only came because Rhea pulled Cody off. The apron to hit the steel steps. Oh, buddy! Cody won in under 10 minutes. A fun match, but one that makes the last month feel like a bit of a waste. No one is more or less over than they were previously after this finish. I really think Brock should have cost Cody the match here, giving Dom a great heel victory and building the Lesnar vs. Rhodes rubber match. And possibly the most surprising part of the night, John Cena then made a shock in-ring appearance, playing up to the London crowd, and then effectively announcing the UK will get a WrestleMania. Gee, I wonder where they'll choose to run that show next week in Wembley. Have there been any major record-breaking wrestling attendance figures in England recently? This is, of course, a highly cynical anti-AEW move to nullify the success of All In. I doubt WWE had any plans whatsoever for a UK WrestleMania until 2 months ago when AEW announced they'd be running Wembley. They won't say that in interviews though. Apparently NXT UK was always the plan. And NXT on Tuesday nights was always in the works. Doesn't matter how many tickets All In eventually ends up selling anyway, because WWE will announce 15% more than the actual physical capacity. That'll teach you, Tony Khan, to be such a mark for things like the accurate data and the truth. With the Mania 40 location already announced, the earliest it can be is 2025. I'm actually so excited. But Grayson Waller did his best to make me not into it. He came out and spoke way too long for Cena to eventually hit an AA. Now it's time for the anime and comic book cosplay convention. Sorry, I mean WWE Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I can make that dismissive joke because, in truth, this was my match of the night, and easily the best women's Money in the Bank match of all time, because we had something better than crazy ladder spots. We had two storyline pillars to provide emotional context for them. On one side, there was Io Sky and Bayley working together after months of tension, until Bayley pushed Io off a ladder, looking conflicted. On the other, we have Becky Lynch taking on Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark, with Trish taking an impressive array of bumps. So weird seeing Trish Stratus in a ladder match, but really cool. It's like she really belongs in this era. Becky and Trish were either working together to get rid of other people or awesomely beating the crap out of each other, but it was another Becky foe that eventually proved her undoing. In one of the best finishes of the year, Io handcuffed Lynch through the ladder to Bayley, meaning neither could get high enough to reach the briefcase. Io then poetically climbed over them both to win the match. Incredible booking and performances from everyone involved, distilling pro wrestling to its purest form, storytelling through physicality. Finn Balor and Seth Rollins then worked a traditional heavyweight title match in the TakeOver main event mold. It was slower and more psychology heavy, with Finn and Seth making the most of their shared context, having fought over the first Universal title all those years ago. The real intrigue came when Priest walked down with his briefcase. All of a sudden, the WrestleMania 31 triple threat was on, just like how Seth had done. But even though Finn had it won, Priest inadvertently, or maybe intentionally, caused a distraction, letting Seth retain. The main event was neither the World Heavyweight Championship defense nor the match the premium live event is named after, because the Bloodline Civil War story has been the hottest thing in wrestling all year and is one of the greatest feuds of all time. And this was another perfect chapter in its epicness. A 30-minute tag match that felt like 15, that was layer upon layer upon layer. Solo's perfectly measured facials when Roman barked to tag him in, Jay going one-on-one with Reigns, several references to The Rock. Of course came the usual Bloodline template, ref bump, visual pin, Roman back on top. But the reason it became a template was so when WWE finally deviated, it'd feel huge. After a Roman spear, Reigns pinned both Usos, but Rudy's count was slow enough for them to kick out. Roman then looked like he started crying. The tribal chief was having a breakdown, so it was up to Sikoa to step up. The man Jimmy and Jay threw their acknowledgement behind on SmackDown. Suddenly Solo was the tribal chief, but he got taken out missing a splash through the table outside. But the best spot was Jay's low blow kick out on Roman, the exact same spot we had from Roman in their match at Clash of Champions 3 years ago. It allowed the Usos to get the win, with Jay being the first person to pin Roman in over 3 years, setting up an incredibly exciting SummerSlam direction. I feel like I say this with every WWE Premium live event. It's one of the best shows they've ever done. We are blessed to be living in a great time for pro wrestling. Money in the Bank 2023 is 97%. Now go watch our brand new series playing AEW Fight Forever over on Parts of Unknown. Here's a clip.
Fight Forever, Road to Elite mode, a fantastic mode, a brilliant mode, an outrageously good mode. We don't know if Fight Forever are actually sponsoring this yet, so I'll do another take, shall I? I'll do another take. Well, you're never gonna know what I was.